Hey guys, how you doing? Core here. Today we're back with another Am I the Silly Bugger video because, well, quite frankly, I need to make some content because I didn't upload that much last week. I went from like daily uploading for like 2.5 weeks to kind of not uploading anything for a bit. Mainly because I just, I don't know, I had a bit of a mental break after that last video that I uploaded. By the way, if you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. It's something a bit different, and I've really appreciated all the feedback. It means a lot to me when people take their time to write out a constructive comment, and it really does help the channel. So thank you guys over there for all your support and all your love and all your constructive criticism. It means a lot. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So this is actually a continuation of a post that we've already covered on this channel. I'll leave a link to the video that it is in. Can't remember what number it is, but I will leave it on screen right now. So yep, there's an icon in the top right. Just click on that, go to that video if you don't know this story. But yeah, let's jump into it. It's been almost a month since my original post, and a lot has happened since then. Many of you asked for an update, so here it goes. Last week, the girls were at their mum's. After she dropped them off Saturday night, my 12-year-old asked to talk to me in private. We went into her room and she showed me 2 recordings she had taken on her phone. One of my ex trying to convince them I was abusing them, and one of her and her husband arguing about how much she was paying in child support. And I'll be honest here, my cousin is a family court lawyer and basically raked her over the coals. It wasn't pretty, but I was still extremely hurt over the affair. I even got alimony. Anyways, my 12-year-old told me she didn't want to go to her mum's anymore, but she said she felt she had to because she's the oldest sibling and it's her job to protect the younger ones. I've always instilled this value in her. I'm an oldest child myself, but seeing this just made me even more upset because now it's just another battle she's fighting that she shouldn't be. She's also just started to figure out that her mum cheated, and over the past couple of weeks, she started firing tons of questions at me about the timeline of our relationship I couldn't really answer. And after showing me the recordings, she literally demanded I answer her, yes or no, did her mum cheat on me? It wasn't easy, but I told her the truth, with the promise she wouldn't tell her sisters. As much as it sucks, that's my job, not hers. The way she cried on my shoulder was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever experienced, but she was catching on, and I figured if she's going to find out regardless, it should be in a setting where she's comfortable. After she was done crying, I told her to email me the recordings she took and called my cousin. We've just started the paperwork, but my cousin is certain we can get my ex nailed for parental alienation, and since she got a promotion a few months ago, I should be able to renegotiate the child support payments as well. Most importantly, the recordings should be enough to give me grounds for supervised visits only, which is what I want. I still want the girls to have a relationship with their mum, especially since the younger two still want to see her. I'm just going to have to make sure I'm present at all times when they're with her. Co-parenting is oodles of fun, kids. Anyways, I also want to give a huge thank you to all of the supportive comments and messages. I only saw most of the DMs recently because I used the Reddit is Fun app on my phone, and for some reason it doesn't show chat room messages. I'm not the best with technology, seeing as my most valuable job skill is hurting 5-year-olds, but I wouldn't trade it for any other career. Thanks for all the support, Reddit. Although all that stuff with your eldest daughter is really heartbreaking, I'm glad that stuff is kind of just moving along for you. It's good to see that you have this evidence and this proof that can pretty much take the mother out of the equation of actual like proper parenting, which I think is a good thing because she clearly isn't fit to be a parent if she's trying to manipulate the children. I'll keep you guys posted with the story. I'll check for updates. I really hope you win this case, my guy. This is fantastic news that your daughter recorded it. She's showing a lot of intelligence and stuff like that. She's clearly got an amazing father, and yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see. Anyways, I wish you the best of luck. Am I the silly bugger for ignoring my niece at my husband's request? I know it sounds bad. My niece and I both play this video game, and she calls me from time to time on her mum's phone so we can play together, maybe like 2 to 3 times a month. Husband has severe depression. It's escalated a lot because of COVID, working from home, isolating, etc. He had a psychotic break after getting in a fight with his sister and cut off all ties with his entire family. Even people who were completely uninvolved, including me and our dog, he ended up in the hospital and made amends with mostly everyone. After this, he had 1 or 2 okay days a week and 5 to 6 really bad days. On the bad days, he cannot leave our bed. He's doing much better now. He has since mended all broken fences except with his sister. Sister asked me if we could come over in a few days, so I said we have to play it by ear because I don't know what kind of a day it will be. She lost it. She said he always needs to be the center of attention. He's been this way his whole life and she doesn't believe he's going to get better. She said I'm going to get fed up and leave him and I'll be better off for it, and that he's sucking the life out of me. I told her this conversation is over now. I love you and value our friendship. I have to stand by my husband. I didn't tell husband because it's just going to make things worse. I just told him words were exchanged and she doesn't understand depression. He decided to cut her and her family off for now until he's better. He asked me to do the same. I know this is a temporary and I think he needs his space to heal, so I want to respect his wishes. Normally, I would never agree to ignore my niece. I just had no way to communicate without going through her mum. I feel so bad for leaving her hanging, but husband is my #1 priority and his sister just can't be in our lives. Am I the silly bugger for cutting off my narcissistic sister-in-law and by extension, my innocent niece? Edit, just to address the common theme, my husband doesn't make me do anything. He asked me and I normally would have said no and then he would have been totally fine with that. In this case, I agreed only because of the way she spoke to me about my marriage. I don't want to keep people around who think it's a good idea for me to divorce my husband for dealing with depression. Also, for those of you saying to keep sister-in-law out of it but still talk to niece, please give me advice on how to do so. The only way I can communicate with her is by calling or visiting her mum. She's 7, she doesn't have her own phone. I'm out of ideas. I definitely don't think you're the silly bugger. I think this is one of those situations where it just kind of sucks, but a beautiful, flourishing relationship between you and your niece is gonna suffer, and it just kind of sucks that there's no way to work around this currently. But I'm sure once things get mended between your husband, once he gets better, and your sister-in-law, that you can go back to having your relationship with the niece. But yeah, it sucks, but sometimes that's just how it is. Am I the silly bugger for refusing to let my friend use my recording studio for free? My mum was a record producer and an audio engineer and was lucky enough to own her own studio. She didn't do anything like super famous, but she was known in a particular music scene and did help out some known people and was a good provider. She unfortunately passed away in 2015 and I'm an only child, so I inherited the studio. I am a musician, so I was already familiar with a studio and I helped out a lot, so I felt slightly confident to take over. It took a while, but I managed to produce some of my own band's music, and even for my husband, who is a musician too. With good old Rona, it put a dampener on my husband and I being able to tour, so our main source of income has only come from the studio. My country doesn't have a huge amount of cases to begin with. I had to cancel a lot of sessions until I figured something out. I managed to reach a compromise where I could space out the studio for distancing if people wanted to come in to the studio, or people could send me audio recordings and they would tell me what they wanted me to do with it. A lot of people did the online stuff with few sessions in person, but I have been managing to make a solid amount for my husband and I to live off and provide for our kid. Recently, one of my friends, not my bandmates, said he wanted to release a small EP and wanted to use my services for it. He said he had a lot of stuff writing and some recorded, and he would like an in-person slot to do properly in a studio. I listed everything he told me and worked out how much it would cost and sent him a rough estimate of how much it would cost. This final cost included a 25% discount, as I've known him a long time, and keep in mind, he was saving himself a lot of money. Well, he got really offended at me. I asked if there was a problem and he said the problem was the cost. I offered to give him a further 10% off if he was having financial issues, but I really couldn't do any more, as it would mean I would be using my own money to finance his venture. He said he would expect me to do it for free as we're friends and quote, "You've done it for you and your band, why can't you do it for me?" I told him vaguely he was wrong and that I have never provided a service to anyone for free as I'm running a business. He kept on calling me a silly bugger and demanding me to drop the charges, and I eventually told him I wasn't going to help him. Well, he has since talked to mutuals and painted me as a selfish bee, only interested in money and not helping out an old friend. Many have defended me, saying I'm trying to make an income in a challenging time, whilst others have said he didn't want to record a lot, so I should have done it for free. I've had to tell everyone that it's not cheap running a studio. I have utility bills, the upkeep of equipment, and the studio itself. It's apparently not a good enough defense, and I'm wondering if maybe I should suck it up and let him use the studio for free. Edit, if it's relevant, the total cost would have been $6,000. I offered him $4,500 and then $4,050. Yeah, you're totally not the silly bugger in this situation. I think people forget that it actually costs a lot to produce music, especially in a studio. You know, it's not free. Upkeep is expensive. Repairing stuff is expensive. And to do all this stuff on your own in your own house can be rather cheap, but if you want top of the line quality, you're going to pay a price. And I think your mate's rate, which is just slang here for cheaper deals for friends, is completely fair and acceptable. 4,500 for a complete recorded EP, I think that is completely fine and acceptable. I hope your friend understands that you can't just do it for free because it's such a big loss, but yeah, you never know. Maybe it's best to just ask him to wait or to go with somebody else. Alright, so I think that's where we're going to end this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a lot of fun. I absolutely love doing this video series. Please let me know what you guys think about all of these stories in the comments down below. And if you want me to do more like updates on previous stories we've already done, because that stuff can be kind of fun. Anyways, big shout out to my channel members. You guys are amazing, especially Leon Rosengarten and Florian. You guys are actually the best. You're the most amazing. And yeah, I love you guys. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys when I see ya. Bye.